Album of the Week, episode 40. Alright guys, this is a cool episode. We're at episode 40. That is crazy to me. 12 more and we've done it for a year. I took a little hiatus, but 2-month hiatus, but a year's worth of Album of the Weeks. That is crazy, but we're not there yet. We have 12 more weeks to go. But 40 is a pretty cool number. So I wanted to do a cool album. This is one of, if not my favorite album of all time. I love this album. We're looking at the Antiphonal Music of Gabrieli. This is a really cool and very historic album. The first, is it 12 or 13? The first whatever of the tracks is the Philadelphia Brass Ensemble, the Cleveland Brass Ensemble, and the Chicago Brass Ensemble. Let me just see how many. The first 13 tracks are built off of that, and they're, generally speaking, they're in, I think for everyone, I think there are 2 choirs. So it kind of shows here, you need this because, so each brass ensemble was playing with each other in different ways. So this is one where you should buy the CD for this. Buy the CD. It is also on Spotify and that's linked below, but purchase it, please. Of all the CDs that I've done, if you're gonna purchase one of them, purchase this one. It's got all the information. I'll bring it up here, but it lists all the players from those 3 ensembles, and it shows you. So if you're looking here, let's take a look at Sonata, Piani, Forte, which is the track of the week this week. Love that one. I played that in high school. It has a lot of memories for me. I love this whole album, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But it looks like Cleveland did not play on that one. Philadelphia played on that, and then part of the Chicago Brass Ensemble. So it's just cool to see who's playing on what, and you really do need this because it'd be really confusing otherwise. They also have everything listed up here in the track notes, who's playing what. So let me just take a second here to list these amazing musicians. If I can find, there's got to be just like a list. I suppose that little punnet chart. So Cleveland Brass Ensemble, and I should also say when this was recorded. And this, actually, if you can read this, hoping that focus, I'll read it. It says, "Now in the making, the new Columbia Records album, Up to Your Ass in Brass." That was a handwritten placard, excuse me, taped to a microphone stand, greeted the the brass players, and helped to break the ice and help create a relaxed atmosphere during this historic recording session. And a historic recording session it definitely was. Let me just find the years quick before I continue. So the first 13 tracks, as I said, were recorded April 12th and 13th in 1968 in Town Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I think this was kind of organized by the Philadelphia Brass Ensemble, but and then tracks 14 through 32 were recorded March 26th, 27th, 30th, and 31st, April 1st in 1959, so earlier, in the Romanesque Hall of Busch-Reisinger Museum, Harvard University, Cambridge, Massachusetts. So the Boston Brass Ensemble is the other brass ensemble that creates the other half. I personally much prefer tracks 1 through 13. It is some of the best brass music that has ever existed. Now, where was I going with that? I was going to list all the players. In the Cleveland Brass Ensemble, we have Bernard Edelstein, amazing trumpet player, Thomas Wolander on second trumpet, Myron Bloom on French horn, Robert Boyd on trombone, and then Ronald Bishop on tuba. In the Philadelphia Brass Ensemble, we have first trumpet Gilbert Johnson, second trumpet Seymour Rosenfield, French horn Mason Jones, first trombone Henry Charles Smith, second trombone Tyrone Bruringer, M.D. Stewart on euphonium, and Abe Torchinsky on tuba. Chicago Brass Ensemble, we have a crazy lineup. Bud Herseth on first trumpet, Vincent Chikowitz on second trumpet, Dale Clevenger, who relatively recently retired from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra on French horn, Jay Friedman, who is still in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra on first trombone, Frank Crisafulli, sorry about that if I mispronounced that, on second trumpet, Glenn Dodson on euphonium, and of course Arnold Jacobs on tuba. What a section of players. If you can't tell, I'm very excited to talk about this album. I love this album. Like I said, it's amazing. And the fact, and they talk about this a little bit, how crazy it is that of the three of the top ensembles in the world at the time, and still today probably, were able to find time to all get together along with their orchestral schedules, their personal lives, everything going on. They were all able to get together for those, what did I say, 2 days or whatever it was, to record this wonderful album. That the logistics behind that, what if someone got sick, that's just crazy. It all worked out, and gosh, it sounds amazing. I could go on and on about this, especially the first 13 tracks. It is amazing. Now, the second half of this is with the Boston Brass, as I said. And then, let's see here. I also wanted to read some quotes that's within the program notes. Love the program notes. It's amazing. E. Power Biggs played organ with the Boston Brass Ensemble. Now, nothing against the second half of this album. It is amazing, but it fails in comparison to the first half. I'll just say that. If it was on a CD on its own, I'd probably be like, yeah, this is a great album. But just comparing the two halves, it's night and day how much I love the first half. It is amazing. Let me just read, I'll just read one quote that's within here as well. This is from Joe Alessi, principal trombone of the New York Philharmonic. This recording was very inspirational for me and was to some extent the reason for my success. Just looking at the cover photo was reason enough to dream about becoming an orchestral musician. This recording needs to be heard by the next generation of brass players, and that is so, so true. Looking at these people on here, some of the best brass players the world has ever seen, is so inspirational. Getting them all together is really amazing. The only thing that I think comes close to this is kind of what Ryan Anthony does with Cancer Blows every year. If you don't know what that is, please check it out. In fact, I'll link it below. That was a random thought. I didn't plan on saying that, but that's the only thing that I can think of that comes close to bringing all these amazing, fantastic musicians together. If you please buy this album. Please, 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 please. It's so cool. The information in here too is amazing. And I should say too, the first half was music of Gabrieli, antiphonal music, and it was so cool how they had, if you listen with headphones or really nice speakers, it's recorded in stereo, so you can hear the one choir in one ear and one choir in the other ear. So it really sounds, so music of Gabrieli was generally performed in this way of two choirs in like a big church, and one would, it's call and response type things. And for me, I grew up in a private school, played for a lot of church things, and through high school and my previous college, huge Gabrieli, we used to do Gabrieli stuff all the time just because, actually, I used to be part of the Martin Luther College Wind Symphony. I hope that's what it was called. It's been a while since I've been in that group, but we went on a summer tour. And we actually got to play, I forget which one it was, honestly, but we got to play one of these pieces in a church, just like that. We would have one choir in the front of the church, and then the other choir would be in the balcony of the church. And it is some of the most beautiful music that I have ever heard and ever gotten a chance to play in my life. One of my dreams is to do something like this. Maybe not record a CD, but maybe put a group together that can do stuff like this, just because this music doesn't get played as often as I wish it would. It's so, so good. And I love it so much. I have a friend, Seth Mahoney, and we talk, well, now we don't because we don't see each other as much anymore, but we would talk about Gabrieli and how we want to perform this. We had plans of making a whole concert, but it just didn't end up happening. But I love this CD so much, particularly the first 13. Again, nothing against the second half, but it's amazing. So that's kind of what Gabrieli means to me. I just grew up playing it, and it's just such beautiful music. Beautiful, beautiful music. The second half is not Gabrieli. It is, let's see here, Frescobaldi. And that some of it is not, it's not all just for brass ensemble. There are some solo organ pieces in here. And that for me too, I've grown up playing a lot of organ and trumpet music. And I think it's some of the, I guess I much prefer playing with organ as a duo than piano. Both have its pros and cons, but the power of the organ and the power of a trumpet is just so, so cool. I could go on and on about this album. It's great. Please purchase. If you are such a cheapskate that you will not purchase one of the greatest albums ever recorded of all time. And I should put the preface on this. If you're not a brass player, you might not enjoy it as much as I do. Okay? So I'll preface that. But if you are a brass player and you don't like this, get out of here. Go play a woodwind instrument or something. This is some of the best music that we have for our instrument, in my opinion. It's so, so good. Please buy this album. Please listen to this album. Just please. I made this album of the week number 40 for a reason. I was saving it for like a big one, because I would do it for 50. Keep an eye out for 50, because every 25, 50, 75, I'm planning on doing a random album. So I go to a store and pick a random, it could be whatever. But anyways, I wanted to make this one special in it, because it really is. This has influenced a lot of the top guys in the orchestras today, and it certainly has influenced me. Of all the CDs that I've done, I think this is my favorite of Album of the Week. I'm trying to think of a CD that comes close to this, and I genuinely cannot. I love this CD. Please purchase it. Please. Please, please, please. Maybe if a spike is... if people see a spike in this, maybe the top orchestral players today will try and recreate it, but I don't know if they will, because why? This is amazing as it is. Anyways, I just hope I'm not forgetting anything. Well, I just looked at my notes and I didn't have really anything else to say, so I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Maybe I'll do another one, another album of the week on this in 20 years from now or something, because I just can't get over how good this is. Truly. Something like this is very rare. You have some of the top brass players in the world coming together to record together. This is a rare thing. I want everyone who's watching this to realize this does not happen very often. So, it's so good. So freaking good. Please purchase it. Please, 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 please. Especially if you're a brass player. I feel like you can't be good without at least listening to this. It's so, so good. Anyways, so if you want to buy it, it's a pretty good album. It's linked below. As I said before, Spotify link is there too if you can't make the funds for it. And yeah, I think that's about everything I needed to say on that one. So for next week, we're doing a different album here. It's dusty. I actually haven't listened to it yet, but this is Ole Edvard Antonsen, a trumpet solo CD, Nordic trumpet concertos. Very interesting. We have the Nordic Chamber Orchestra with Christian Lindberg as the conductor. Christian is a fantastic trombonist if you don't know of him. But Ole Edvard Antonsen is an amazing trumpet player. He's alive today. I everything about them. I'll get more into that next week though. So this will be linked below if I can find where you can purchase it for next week if you want to listen along with me as we continue going through this series. Thanks for getting to 40. I know not really many people are watching my videos right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna still keep trucking just because I love learning about all these different albums. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a big old thumbs up. Helps me out a ton. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss another video with me. Comment below if there's any future album reviews. They're not really reviews. They're just me talking about albums that I listen to. But anyways, comment below if there's any future albums you want me to take a look at or anything else. And I will see you next week.